Good morning, everyone. So today I am going to be going through a new deck. It's an Oracle deck, and I have been waiting for this deck um, for 2 weeks, which is not bad at all. I use a forwarding service, so I am based in the Philippines. From the time I ordered this deck to the time it arrived in the Philippines, took 2 weeks with the forwarding service that I use. So I will type their name or I'll tag them in the information below. It's called Kango Express. And honestly, the shipping costs, because they can be insane. I think I paid $9 for shipping from the US to the Philippines. So not too bad at all. Anyway, I want to talk about this deck. I missed it on Kickstarter, but I saw it on Don Michelle's channel and I saw one card and I was like, I need to find this deck. So this is From Roots to Blooms. And this is by a creator on YouTube and on Instagram that goes by the handle Moonlit Mama 444. I will tag them in the captions. And their name is Haley. I've had the best experience talking with her. I I just truly think that they are such an amazing person, and um, yeah, their content is great. So check them out. So let's go on to the deck. I'm so excited. Okay, first of all, I have been looking for Oracle decks that are not too positive and not too negative, and like a good balance of stuff. One of my favorites, or a few of my favorite Oracle decks, would be the Reclaim, and then the Heart Align or the Align Heart Affirmations Oracle. Other than that, the other Oracle decks I have are very much shadow work. So Wisdom of the Shadow, what else do I have? Wild Unknown Archetypes. So I have a few, but I'm really kind of missing a balanced Oracle deck that doesn't feel very Starseed, although there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's just not my vibe. And I got really excited to see this. So let's talk about it. This is a beautiful magnetic box, and I love this is my first deck where it like fully opens. This is great. And it says, "Oh hi, let's explore you from roots to blooms." And then the guidebook says, "Let's dig a little deeper." So this is amazing. Now I will just talk about what they have written on the back, and you see all the details. It's so pretty. So it says, "From Roots to Blooms is a deck rooted within the earth. Its messages are here to remind you of your worth and to hold space for where you are, always. My hope is that you feel encouraged and inspired to nurture yourself with help from these cards, From Roots to Blooms." This is the first edition created by Haley Waite. I hope I'm saying that right. So again, really beautiful box. It does have a ribbon and it's pretty substantial. So you know how like those cards have a ribbon but it like ends here and you're like fussing with it? You don't need to do that with this. It's awesome. Let's take a look at the cards. Now, first of all, there is a system in this deck, and I will talk about that in a bit. But first, let's absorb the beautiful, beautiful backs. This is a lovely linen cardstock. It is a little bit thin, but when I looked up the cards on the site or the specs of the cards, it says it has a black core finish. There is a little bow in my deck. I haven't shuffled it yet, but that's fine. I'm sure it'll snap right back the more I shuffle it. And then there are categories of the cards. So you will have a stack of, I think, 25 white cards, and these would be the blooms. Then you would have a stack of the black background cards, and this is another 25, and these are the roots. And then you will have elemental cards, and these are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you would have 60 cards total. The elemental cards are more about energies, if I have that right. So I haven't worked with the system just yet, but the guidebook does offer a lot of ways to work with the cards. So for example, an elemental spread, how to pair with tarot, and then of course just a guideline that you can absolutely use this any way you want. What I do love about this is it talks about what you will not find. You will not find toxic positivity, ableism, cultural appropriation, spiritual bypassing. And then the creator talks about that a bit more, talks about binaries. This deck is intentionally binary free, talks about judgment. So it's beautiful. Now, it also talks about what you will find in the roots. The messages of this group speak to your root self, authentic nature, shadow, or hidden side. There is nothing to fear here as everyone has a root self. And then there are keywords, which are reflection, introspection, perspective, and healing. So these cards would have to do with that. The blooms, as the guidebook says, the blooms shine a light on what is visible, uncovered, exposed, laid bare. Although these messages point to what is seen or known, remember that what is visible does not mean it is good, just as what is not visible or apparent does not mean it is bad. They're each essential components of a complete flower as well as a full human being. And then the keywords are encouragement, inspiration, expansion, and growth. And then the elements. So it talks about the elements that the messages in this group focus on the elemental energy that is imperative for health and well-being. So I do love this a lot. I admit that I was a little confused which ones were the roots, which ones were the blooms, because the blooms are numbered first, but the deck is called Roots to Blooms. So that threw me a little bit, and then I went on the Kickstarter page and it was very clear which were the roots, which were the blooms. So just in case you have a little trouble with that, kind of explaining that already. But let us now go through the deck. We'll start with the blooms. So I love this. It says, place me on your heart to receive love and support. Now, when I first saw this in the walkthrough, and there are a couple of cards that ask you to take an action, I was kind of like, I don't think I like those cards because they seem kind of cheesy. When you have them in hand and it's an actual tool that you're using as a part of somatic therapy, it's actually great. So I don't find it cheesy at all. Sorry, my tea is going to get hot, so I have to drink. Nothing worse than cold teh tarik. And then the second one, so you'll see the little number up top, it says, be human to the fullest. You already have enough because you are enough. Practice trusting yourself daily. Moving slowly is still moving forward. And then you have the snail. Where you plant your seeds is where you'll notice growth. Beautiful. Oh, I love this. I saw this and I was like, this is one of the cards that made me get it. If it's out of your hands, don't keep it in your head. So let's actually go to the guidebook. And since it's numbered, so that's 7, you can just flip to number 7. So it'll have a write-up. If it's out of your hands, don't keep it in your head. Just a really quick write-up, and it's not so complicated. It's pretty basic and like just really explains it further. But it also gives you, for each card, it gives you 3 questions to ponder over and how to use. It's like a prompt for that card. So how does ruminating over a situation benefit or hurt you? What feelings, thoughts, or physical sensations do you experience when you feel the pull to control a situation? How can you become more accepting and let go of the need to control, especially when a situation is out of your hands? That is amazing. I really, really like those prompts. They're so simple to understand, but they do function in a very like thought-provoking way. So this says perspective, and it's done in a different perspective. I like that a lot. Their opinions are a reflection. Then you have the reflection of the word reflection of them. I love this. I actually want to go back to the guidebook for this, and let's look at that. So in the write-up, it's pretty comprehensive here. It says, although opinions that are critical of you can ignite defensiveness, anger, and hurt, if you take a step back, you will see that these perspectives offer a window into the other person's biases and insecurities. So it talks about developing empathy, as well as exploring that within those opinions, there might be some truth and deserves contemplation. So it's very balanced. And then it asks the questions again. So, how can you detach your personal truth from the subjective opinions of others? This is really, really wonderful work. I am thinking actually I might need to work with this like a card a day until I get through the whole deck. I accept my blank a little more today. So I keep going back to the guidebook, but there was a blank, so I want to know how that works. So it just basically says, what aspects of your life are you ready to embrace more fully? So it does make you think, and it's lovely to have cards that are a little more open-ended as well. And this says, hug yourself, you deserve tenderness. Make friends with change. This is a hard one for me. Find a routine that fits and show up for yourself. You don't need to be stressed or busy to be valuable. Yes. Fan your fire. Ah, I love it. Validate yourself before seeking acceptance elsewhere. So important. Oh man. So it's simple messages, but it hits home, especially when you have it in hand. Talk to yourself like someone you love. Be who you need. Here's that sign you've asked for. Go touch the grass. This was one of the cards that I was like, no. I live in an apartment building. It's hard to do, especially in this heat right now. We've got a massive heat wave, and I was just like, I don't want to touch the grass right now. It's gonna burn me. Joy happens in the now. Intentionally embrace it. Oh, good stuff. If it costs you your peace, it is too expensive. Yes. Make yourself rich by making your wants few. Do something for your inner child today. Blow on me and make a wish. So I love that. And then we move to the roots. So this was another card that I was like, I don't know about all these action cards, but actually this is so helpful. And I do a lot of somatic therapy, so I'm confused as to why I thought that would not jive with me. So it says, take a deep breath, and it says, trace up on the inhale and trace down on the exhale. So I could just go. And actually that is very calming. I do a lot of breath work, but I've never actually done the trace. And it feels like having something physical in hand to, have that action of going up and down actually was very relaxing for me. Good thing to remember, now is not forever. When it feels safe, go deeper. Love that. Quiet the mind and the soul will speak. Don't feel bad about feeling. Now I have to go to the guidebook again because I have thoughts about feelings and whether they're acceptable. Yes, all feelings are valid, but what you do with them, I'm not so much that has boundaries. So it is natural and necessary to experience a wide range of emotions, whether they are joyful or challenging. Accept them all without judgment, honoring the wisdom and insight they provide. So it doesn't talk so much about the expression of feelings, but it just says accept them and don't judge them. It's okay living a life that others don't get. I love this because it feels like it's okay if the things that are supposed to make you happy don't. Whose expectations are you judging yourself against? Whose indeed? Water your garden first. You don't need to be available to everyone. And I love how simple this is, but it's got enough visual impact to where, you really do feel the love and the work that went into this deck. This is the card that I saw. The first card that I saw on the walkthrough or on the quick flip through, where I was like, I must have this. Your sensuality is sacred and not shameful. And if you've seen any of my videos, being someone that comes from a background where I've had sexual abuse, child abuse, this is such a wonderful thing to hear. You are not responsible for their reactions, emotions, or behavior. Your voice and your perspective are valuable. Ah, this one. Stop comparing, criticizing, invalidating, punishing, hurting, shrinking yourself. What is bubbling up? Where do you feel it? Rest and reset mind, body, spirit. Balance is the goal. This is a good one. Please don't believe everything you think. As my therapist likes to say, is it fact or is it feeling? You are not too much, too sensitive, too broken to heal, too old to dream, behind in life, and too hard to love. Acknowledge your fears. Release your regrets, fears, guilt, and shame. Oof, doubt kills more dreams than failure. If it's heavy, put it down, even if only for a bit. It's okay to feel cracked or broken. That's where the water reaches the roots. Find your boundaries and hold them. And wave this card around you to cleanse. Yes, please. And then finally, we have the elements cards. So you have the blooms, and then you would have keywords: abundance, authenticity, and attraction. Now, with the guidebook for the blooms, or the entries in the guidebook for the elemental cards, rather, it is a little bit different, but it's nonetheless fantastic. So you would have keywords, which are what they have here, and then you would have an affirmation that you can say. For blooms, it's I attract light, health, and abundance, and flourish with limitless potential. Then you have the leaves: receive, transmute, release. The moon: intuition, reflection, cycles. The nutrients: health, nourishment, vitality. Rain: replenish, flow, and cleanse. The roots: talking about depth, foundation, strength. Soil: grounded, sustained, at ease. The sun: energy, illumination, guidance. The thorn: discern, deflect, and protect. And finally, the wind: trust, lift, explore. So that's the deck. And let's just see about how this shuffles. So I always knock on my decks to cleanse them, and then I blow around the four corners. I think I picked up. All right, let's do it perfectly in sync there. Okay, the bow is making it a little bit hard, but not too bad. Not too bad at all. Like, it's a great shuffle. Linen decks usually are. It's a little slippery right now, but that's pretty normal. Let's just pull. I know there are multiple ways to use this deck, and I want to explore all of that, but I just wanted to pull a card for anybody watching this, just a message, and let's see if it's something we need to be introspective about, or something that we need a little affirmation with. Let's see. And I love that linen does tend to fan beautifully. And the message for today is: validate yourself before seeking acceptance elsewhere. And I will look at the guidebook for that. So it says, trust your judgment, embrace your emotions, cherish your intuition. Cultivate self-approval. Respecting who you are is essential if you want to discern what is true and authentic outside of yourself. I won't read the whole description, but some of the questions. Where do you seek external validation? How can you strengthen your sense of self-knowing and self-trust? So that is From Roots to Blooms. It is a beautiful deck, and I am very excited to start working with it. So as always, take care. Bye.